In the birth order of my family, I'm the first of two. I have one younger sister who's just over 2 years younger than me, and we're nothing alike at all. Being firstborn has had a large effect on how I've turned out because my sister was the youngest and she got most of the attention and normally got whatever she wanted. At a younger age, I started to learn to take care of myself, and I've become a pretty independent person who's able to take care of themselves without depending much on others. As a kid and as a teenager, I've always had a very easy temperament. I always heard stories from my family about how I rarely, if ever, cried, and how if I ran full speed into a wall, I would just get back up and go back to what I was doing without a tear. As I grew up and got in my teens, I realized I'm the same exact way. I'm a very easygoing and relaxed person who just likes to take life as it comes. It's very hard to get me mad because I'm normally having a good time and joking around, but if I am mad, which is rare, I would suggest staying away. Just kidding, but I'm normally not the best person to be around when I'm mad. Narcissism is a personality disorder where you think of yourself as better or more superior than others and normally have an inflated ego. It was kind of hard to find a picture for narcissism, so I picked a picture where I was high up because I was technically above everyone else because I'm really high up. As I think about it, I do have a little bit of an ego, but the only thing I really have left to say about this is that I got a 37 on the narcissism test, so I don't really know what's going on in this picture, but I found it on my sister's phone and it shows me thinking, so I guess it works for this one. Ever since the beginning of high school, I've used the sixth stage of moral reasoning, which is post-conventional moral reasoning. Stage 6 moral reasoning is when you do not take society's moral values or what is the law as how you make your decisions, but rather your own created moral values and your views on what is right and wrong. Personally, I've never really thought of the law as how I should behave, but rather my own beliefs and morals that I've created. ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, which I've had since I was a kid. It always made it hard to do homework and follow along in school, make sure I was listening in class. Anything that involves focus in my life has been hard, and my parents would always comment how I was constantly pacing back and forth during dinner or just when I was on the phone. I could never sit still. Always had to move, always had to do something, and I could never really concentrate in class just because of the fact that if I wasn't interested, it just didn't appeal to me, then there was no way I was concentrating in class. So it's always been something I struggled with and something that always made it really hard for me to learn and get good grades. Observational learning is a method of learning in which you observe someone else and try to recreate what they're doing to fit what you're trying to accomplish. My dad is always someone that I observed a lot and took a lot of habits from. And my mom always jokes about how if you look at me and my dad, we're completely different people, but our habits and the way we do things are the exact same because as I grew up, I watched him and learned to do everything from him. Now, you may be wondering what you're seeing here, but it's actually a view of my roof. And I know it's a little blurry, but it's a place that I like to go when I like to think or just be alone in general. I've always considered myself an introvert because I like to be myself, I like to research topics, and just learn in general. I do still like parties, I do still like to be with friends, but when it comes down to it, there's just times where I would really like to be alone. As I grew up, I've always lived in an authoritative household. My parents have never been permissive in which they let me do anything I want, but they're also not authoritarian in which they get everything they want without any say by me. Whenever I have an issue or any type of thing I'd like to discuss, I'm always able to come have an open discussion with them, and we normally figure out something that both of us can agree on. People with type A personalities are normally pretty high strung, very concerned with time management, and concerned with how they appear to other people, while people with type B personalities are normally more laid back. They like to take life as it comes, and they like to do more creative things instead of more obedient things. And I would consider myself more of an in-between of both. I've never been really type A, but I've also never been completely type B. Type A, I've always had because I've been very concerned with time management. I'm normally always on time, or at least I try to be, and I'm very concerned with time. While my type B side, I'm very laid back, take life as it comes, and I'd probably want a pretty creative job in the future, because if I sat at a desk job for hours on end, I just don't think I could do that. I've never really had high anxiety, and I just like to take things as they come, and I've never really had many worries, to be honest. When we took the fear survey in class, I scored very low in the fact that I'm not really scared of much, except jellyfish, but like, come on, those things are scary. Like, I'm not trying to get stung by those. And in this picture, you can see that I'm standing on the side of a cliff, but you can't really see the words. It says cliff jumping. It was a time where I was in Hawaii, and I was standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down at the water, and said, if I don't do this, don't jump off this, even though it's very high up, and I don't even know how deep it is down there because no one's jumped off this. But, like, I don't want to tell myself that, oh, I should have done that, but I didn't. And so I always just want to make sure that I try everything that I can without having the regrets of never trying something that I should have tried. My lack of fear, along with my majority type B personality, will have a large influence on my life. As a kid, I've always loved racing go-karts, and as I grow up, I hope to keep racing, except with cars. My lack of fear hopefully lands me a fun but risky job where I don't have to worry about doing the same thing every day. And my type B personality will hopefully let me live a stress-free, fun-loving, and easygoing life. One reason I love driving is because when you get into the 130s or 140s in this area, it starts to get your adrenaline pumping because you know it's not the safest thing to do. But driving isn't just about risk and fun to me. The happiest I ever am is when I'm driving down the highway with the music blasted and the windows down. And I really do hope that my future involves a lot of cars.